welcome to Almanac North. I'm Maarja Hewitt. Today we are joined by musicians, fans, and event organizers from the Duluth Homegrown Music Festival. We'll learn about the history of the event, the impact it's had on Duluth, what fans appreciate about it and are looking forward to, and how it's all put together. All of that is to come tonight on Almanac North. But first, the Wisconsin Department of Safety and Professional Services announced the winners of its Youth Volunteer Firefighter Training Program grant, which aims to increase fire service recruitment among high school students. A total of $75,000 was awarded to 4 programs in various Wisconsin technical colleges and fire departments. Fox Valley Technical College, FVTC, received $15,405 to fund a high school fire program offering a firefighting principles course to students in collaboration with 9 area high schools and fire departments. This course provides the necessary training for Firefighter 1 certification in Wisconsin. The Kewaunee County Junior Firefighter Program received $24,525. This program partners with the Luxembourg, Casco, Algoma, Denmark, and Kewaunee school districts, along with 8 fire departments to offer volunteer firefighting experience and course credit through Northeast Wisconsin Technical College. Madison Area Technical College was awarded $10,070 to expand its Next Gen Responders Academy, which will use the funds to purchase turnout gear in different sizes, enhancing safety and availability for the program's participants. North Central Technical College received $25,000 to support its Youth Firefighter Academy, a partnership with the Central Fire and EMS District and local high schools. This grant will help train high school students for firefighter level 1 volunteer roles and prepare them for the emergency medical responder certification exam. Wisconsin's fire departments face recruitment and retention challenges, especially in rural all-volunteer stations. These grants aim to expose high school students to career and volunteer opportunities in fire service, helping to meet the state's need for qualified volunteer firefighters. That's great news for those firefighting organizations. Another volunteer-based organization you might have heard of is the Duluth Homegrown Music Festival. Homegrown started as a modest birthday bash in 1998, hosted by Scott Lunt, a music enthusiast with a vision. What began as a small gathering of 5 bands for Lunt's 30th birthday quickly blossomed into a vibrant celebration of Duluth's music scene. In 1999, Homegrown officially debuted, setting the stage for a unique cultural event that would evolve over the years into a powerhouse festival. In its early years, Homegrown was the heart of Duluth's counterculture, an intimate and rowdy weekend party that attracted a niche crowd. Fast forward to today, and Homegrown has grown into a sprawling 8-day festival featuring nearly 200 bands across dozens of venues. It's now a cornerstone of Duluth's arts community, drawing thousands of visitors from across the Midwest. Despite facing challenges like near failure in 2005, complex bureaucratic transitions, and the disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic, Homegrown has remained resilient, adapting to changing circumstances while keeping its spirit intact. The festival, now a nonprofit organization, is a testament to Duluth's rich artistic landscape, a week-long celebration that brings together music, poetry, art, and camaraderie. Homegrown embodies Duluth's creative pulse and continues to inspire with its showcase of local talent and idealistic community spirit. This year's Homegrown Festival kicks off on Sunday, April 28th and runs through May 5th at venues across Duluth and Superior. A week-long wristband is $40, Monday through Thursday day passes are $15, and Friday and Saturday day passes are $25. You can find a full schedule of bands, venues, and performance times online, as well as more information. Well, earlier we had a chance to speak with the members of the Gemstones, who are performing for Homegrown on May 2nd at the main club. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Ian Hobb. I'm the drummer for the Gemstones.
Hi, I'm Courtney Elliott, and I am a lead vocalist and the keyboard player in the Gemstones.
Hi, my name is Josh Nicola. I'm the guitarist and vocals for the Gemstones.
What's up? My name is Emmanuel, and I play bass in the Gemstones.
Our origin story is kind of far-flung. It started in 2021 when Deanna Johnson, Afro Geode, reached out to me looking for a keyboard player for her shows. And so we paired up and we became Afro Geode, just a duo. And then we performed and needed a band for the Pride Festival that was happening that Labor Day weekend at Bayfront.
Well, we were all individual people doing our own things. Courtney and Dee had worked previously together on music, and Dee, I want to say back in 2021, Dee got asked to play the Pride Festival down at Bayfront.
So there was I think it was a Facebook post by Deanna Johnson, or Afro Geode, however you might have known her. Made a Facebook post, wanted to put a band together to do the Pride Festival in 2021.
And from what she told us, she said, I don't want to do a backing track anymore. She's like, I want a band behind me. So she, on Facebook, sent out a message asking for band members. And she's like, anybody have anything cool going on, let me know. And I remember specifically laying in bed, not wanting to do anything. My music stuff was getting kind of boring. And my wife showed me a picture of her post. And I was like, all right, send it over.
So she started to kind of assemble this crew of people that she knew through various other connections, and one of them was me. My mom said my son plays bass, and so she called me up, and she said, hey, Manny, I would love if you play bass with me in this one performance, and I said, I can do that. I also know a really good drummer. His name's Ian Hopp, and so that's how Ian became part of the band, and then we played Pride at Bayfront.
And we got rained on, and it was like a historic day, and it was a lot, but that's kind of how we got formed.
Came together and played those songs, and it was one of those moments in life. It was one of those core memories where you're like, I won't forget standing in an inch of water while playing songs. But Dee pushed it through, and we got done with that. And
it was just supposed to be a one-time gig, but everybody liked each other so much that we decided to do another.
Realized within probably an hour afterwards, we did not want to stop this little group we have, because it was really, we were only coming together just for the Pride and whatever, or the Pride Festival. But yeah, Dee was like, I don't want to be done. And everybody else, same thing, was just like, I don't want to be done either. So we became a band.
And then it led to another gig and another one, and now we're us, so.
Oh, that's tough. I think we have a lot of really impressive songs, at least I think so. But I think the most impressive song we have in our arsenal is one we're playing today, actually.
The song that would probably blow you away would be one of our newer singles that we are going to be playing today. It's called Bedroom Feels, and our guitarist Josh wrote it, and it's like an absolute banger.
And everybody's jacked to play that one. It's just good overall, upbeat, positive chords, just fun. It's probably going to be the Duluth Summer Jam, because it's about bedrooms and feelings in bedrooms, love, all that stuff.
But I think it really shows off a lot of our strengths as a band.
Oh yeah. And we have pretty much a set of like all originals that we're going to premiere for Homegrown, so it's kind of on the cusp of that. My favorite part about Homegrown would be being able to go to any venue at any night, any time of the week, and seeing a million people you know. And we're all coming off of each other's shows, and like we're going to everybody else's things and just volleying from one place to another. And it feels like a whole citywide party is kind of what it feels like. And you know, on those weekend nights, everything just kind of feels magical and the city sort of feels alive. And we just have such a thriving like arts community here that it just feels really natural.
I don't know, I love the camaraderie and getting to hear a bunch of different music and talk to a bunch of different people, and everybody's there for the same reason and on the same page, and it's, at least every Homegrown I've done before, there's never been an argument, there's never been a bad time, it's just a bunch of people getting together to have fun. So that's what I'm looking forward to this year as well.
Oh, man, I just love seeing every band I love and even have never heard about come out of the Wetworks and just kind of continuously play. I feel like Duluth really changes as a town during Homegrown, you know, like it's just a different vibe in the whole town for a while. But my favorite part about Homegrown is just seeing all my friends play, getting to see new music, and just feeling like I live in like a music town, you know, because it doesn't always feel like that, but on Homegrown it really highlights what we're all about.
Stay tuned later in the episode. The Gemstones will be performing to conclude the show. Joining us today in the Almanac North conversation area is musician and homegrown fan, Dan Puglisa. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you're a musician in the Duluth community. I'm sure you've been to many a homegrown.
Yeah.
What does the festival mean to you? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, it brings everyone in town out. I mean, you literally see everyone that you normally don't see, you know, because like there's shows that go on all year, but like for some reason, homegrown just seems to get just everyone out of their spaces and go into different places that they may not normally go and see different shows that they may not normally see. So I guess I'm kind of looking forward to that, to seeing just everyone out and about and enjoying everything, you know?
It's kind of like a holiday.
Yeah, yes.
For Duluth
sure.
on the Twin Ports. Like I feel like people have it on their calendar. It's 8 days, always kind of falling in the same time every year, and people anticipate it.
Yeah. I remember I used to jokingly tell my boss at my old job, I'd be like, okay, so homegrown week, I hope you know, like I'm coming in, I'm gonna be tired. It's gonna be a week, so just be prepared. And they'd always be like, yep, homegrown. You know, they'd see the wristband and it would be like, all right, yep.
So is it something you do most every year?
As much as I can, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so like looking on your past experiences, maybe the first time you were able to check out homegrown, like
Yeah.
what do you remember from those experiences?
Gosh, it wasn't like crazy long ago, but it was 2013, and it was at Amazing Grace, and there was this band called Pine Grove playing. And I remember I actually kind of went on a date with someone that I had a crush on. It was like, we didn't even know about homegrown, and the show was playing there, and it was just so cool to see. You go into this little tiny like downstairs music venue, and as like a freshman in college, I was like, whoa, this town has like so many cool different things, and coming from like a small town in northern Minnesota, it was just mind-blowing. And then this band comes out and they played just such good music, and it was like, I knew that I loved good music, but I didn't know that like Duluth could really produce it that way until I started, seeing it, because I never really ventured from UMD until I started kind of like stepping out into Canal Park, and then saw that show at Homegrown, and it was just like, this is amazing,
Opened your eyes.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's something I really love about not only homegrown, but just like the Twin Ports music scene, is that the difference in venues. Like you have these really intimate, like small spaces where you can have these intimate shows, and then you have, Amsoil or Bayfront and these really big venues where you can take in massive shows.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. I mean, you're shoulder to shoulder with everyone most of the time, and you come in, and as you're bumping into a bunch of different people, it's like you start to get to know other people too. And like, I'm a very extroverted person, so that's one of my favorite parts about that, is that I just like, yo, you like this kind of music? Oh, sweet. Like, I like this kind of music too. And just like my eye doctor, we used to see each other at last year. I would see him at every show, and he'd be like, my barometer, this is a great show. And I went and got my eyes checked today, and he was like, you're gonna be out at Homegrown this week, right? It's like, heck yeah, man.
The connections you make in the crowd. So looking at this year's lineup, are there some bands or artists that really stick out that you're looking forward to check out?
Oh yeah. So I know Tuesday, I'm super pumped to go out to Amsoil. I know Brothers Burn Mountain, for me, is one of my favorite shows all the time. Brothers Burn Mountain, Woodblind, a band called Truman. Crunchy Bunch is always a really good one, and I'm not sure where they're at this time. I should have looked at the thing, but I know Big Baby J at Cedar Lounge. It's going to be fun. Man, I could go on forever talking about how many fun shows are going to be there this year.
And I mean, when you say the names of these bands, it's like all different genres.
Yeah, for sure.
People going to Homegrown, if they've never been before, it's not really like a type of music, it's all types of music. So can you speak a little bit to like what the Duluth music community offers in terms of like a wide spectrum of types? Yeah.
I mean, you got bands like Big Wave Dave and the Ripples, and they're like horn band with like funk, and you're just jiving with that. And then you got bands like, trying to think,
Or like Gemstones, who
Yeah.
we're going to hear later in the show.
Yeah, they're very
kind of
funky,
fun,
kinda
right? Yeah.
fun. And then you got like other bands like Bratwurst, where the guy like eats raw meat on stage and
Wait,
they're just yeah,
what?
yeah. It's an interesting. It's a good. Nothing against Bratwurst.
Okay.
It's a very interesting show. Guy eats raw meat on stage and they have like a angle grinder that they're just like making noise, and it's music. It's very
art.
It's art, and that's what's really cool too, is that like oftentimes it gets you out of your comfort zone when like you may listen to a certain genre, you stumble into a show and you're like, what is this? And I have no idea what's going on, but you get pleasantly surprised.
I'm just thinking about the bratwurst.
Yeah.
I'll have to, because they have that big program.
Yeah.
It's like a magazine that you can go through and read about all of the artists and the musicians and the schedule, and it's like such a good way to get kind of a taste of what to expect at the festival. As a musician yourself, what is it like to be in the crowd and like experience the festival and like just this camaraderie and like see like the community coming around the music community?
Oh man, it gives you like a hope for the future for music and stuff around here. It's really nice to just like continue to see people kind of up and coming, to see people who have been there for years doing continual like amazing shows. It just gets you really pumped for like the beginning of the summer season, especially because like as the summer starts, there's just music everywhere in Duluth, and yeah, I don't know. There's something about that week that just kind of like kicks that all off.
It's kind of the start of the summer like excitement in that season. Tell us a little bit about your band too.
Oh gosh. So right now we call ourselves Fistful of Bacon, and we're a cover band. We're not playing at Homegrown this year, but I've wanted to get into it for a while, but we just don't have enough time to kind of play enough shows. But yeah, no, we do shows at Blacklist here and there. We do shows at Sir Ben's, and it's always a blast just kind of getting together, playing music. And again, we do a lot of covers, so it's fun to kind of play music that people know and can sing along with. And
Are they pop covers, classic covers?
oh man, I mean anything from Marvin Gaye to LMFAO. We do one Gorillaz song.
Oh,
yeah. So I
okay.
mean, it's all over the
That's
board.
fun.
Yeah, Childish Gambino. I mean, it's a lot of different stuff.
So, goal someday to be on a homegrown stage?
Yeah, I would love to be on a Homegrown stage someday. Yeah.
All right, Dan, well, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great homegrown.
Yeah.
Happy homegrown.
Thank you. Happy homegrown to you
And
too.
thank you again.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Now our team had a chance to meet with Homegrown Music Festival Director of Technology, Tyler Scouten, to learn more about how the festival works and what to expect this year.
I'm Tyler Scouten. I'm the Technology Director for the Duluth Homegrown Music Festival. I believe I've been the Technology Director from what I remember about 9 years now. This will be the official 26th year of the Homegrown Music Festival. It started with one night, I can't remember exactly how many bands, I believe it was 3 to 5 bands for Scott Lunt's birthday, also known as Starfire in Duluth. That's what kicked off the Homegrown Music Festival. It kind of just kept evolving every year and kept getting larger and larger over the years, and it becoming a nonprofit and we had a whole steering committee with it, and it is what it is now. The most unique part about Homegrown for me is a mix of everything, every type of genre of music, of different types of people, all kind of coming together, and we have this one magical week of just enjoying. You can say happy Homegrown to any random person on the street corner, and they'll know exactly what you're saying. They'll usually reciprocate. I think it's kind of a fun trivia fact is for the Homegrown Music Festival, we had 254 bands apply. These are primarily local bands, which is mind-blowing to me. That's a lot of bands for such a small area, and we have such a great culture of local bands and local music and original music. The drawback is we only had 162 slots, I believe it was, or 164 slots available, so not everybody could get in. That's always a bummer, and hopefully with things kind of coming back and venues hopefully coming back, we'll be able to add more slots. But yeah, that number of 254 for bands applying for the festival for me, an astronomical number. So I don't know. The Homegrown Music Festival in general. The application process focuses primarily in the Duluth, Superior, and surrounding areas. So you have to be active in the music scene in the area, playing shows and stuff like that. You might be able to live somewhere else, but if you're playing shows here, like we have roots here, that plays a big part. We really want to focus on the locality, because there's a lot of bands that maybe play in the cities and never played Duluth. And they have their spot, but this festival is really celebrating local bands. I think it's a mixture. I think it brings a surge of businesses or a business for local businesses, which is great, because there's some of the smaller businesses are struggling, and this is a good bump for them. Also, it's a good showcase of local music and allowing people to have an audience maybe they wouldn't have had normally by booking a show themselves. Kind of opens that up. So it's almost I view it as a win-win for the venues and the bands kind of coming together for this. And then of course the people coming to the festival, maybe going to new venues they've never been to, having a beer at a place they're like, I've never been here, and they'll end up going back next week or next month after the festival. Just that, Homegrown 2024, it's a big thing. That's actually the hashtag this year is HGMF24, and just share pictures, share with your friends, invite friends and family to go to sets, or share as much video as you can to get these names out there, let people know that Duluth is a hotbed for music, and it's very accepting to every type of music. There's a spot pretty much for everybody here, and it's a really good feeling.
If you're interested in getting even more in-depth with Homegrown 2024, our partners at 103.3 The North have the Homegrown Music Tune-Up live on their YouTube page right now. The tune-up features performances from bands and interviews with the North's Christine Dean and Caitlin Brinza. Again, that is on the North 103.3's YouTube right now. You can also check out the Homegrown Music Tune-Up airing next week on Explore at 6 p.m. on Friday, May 3rd, and at 2 p.m. on Saturday, May 4th. Well, before we go, here's a look at what you might be up to this weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m. is 2024 Indie Bookstore Day at Wildflower Bookshop in Grand Rapids. Celebrate Independent Bookstore Day and meet local authors Dick Nakbar and Ashley Goodman, along with free popcorn, giveaways, and ice cream. Saturday at 6 p.m., the Mesabi Humane Society's annual For Paw's Sake fundraiser is at the Virginia Elks Club. Ticket price includes dinner, a donation to the shelter, and access to games, raffles, and a silent auction. And of course, the Duluth Homegrown Music Festival kicks off this Sunday. Join our friends at 103.3 The North at Hoops Brewing in Canal Park as Starfire gives the Founders Day presentation. More information for tickets, bands, and venues is available at duluthhomegrown.org. Well, make sure you get out and enjoy your weekend. I'm Maarja Hewitt. Thank you for joining us on Almanac North. Enjoy the gemstones as we close the show. I'll see you all next time. Good night.